Today, we sure be learning more about some overnight news in Albuquerque. There were 3 different crashes.
Yeah, including one that killed a bicycle rider. That one happened about 9:45 last night in Wyoming, just north of Comanche. Police say a car or truck driving south slammed into the bike. Paramedics tried to help the person who was on it, but it was too late. Wyoming was shut down for a while. It should be back open this morning, though. Investigators have not said who was killed or if the driver will face any charges. Now, about the same time, a person was hit in this neighborhood in the Northeast Heights. It's on Ralph between Eubank and Juan Cabo. It looks like this SUV is involved with the woman outside who was very distraught there. Police have not said exactly what happened here. Then on the other side of town, a person was hit near the Applebee's on Alameda near Ellison. A black pickup truck, this one, may be involved. It was in the road with its hazard lights on for quite some time. Police have not told us who was hit or who is at fault in this crash.
The state's largest wildfire continues to be fueled by the dry weather in the southwest region of the state. Today, Governor Susana Martinez will be briefed on the silver fire that is burning in the Gila wilderness. Unless there is some relief from the high winds and low humidity, the fire could double in size, they tell us. It's now more than 30,000 acres, and steep, rugged terrain and explosively dry trees and brush are limiting what firefighters can do. They have to cut miles of fire line breaks in the lower terrain areas and around the small town of Kingston, which so far, by the way, has remained safe. Thank goodness for that.
Those firefighters, men and women down there, are doing an incredible job to keep that fire safe. We're just talking about this. It's literally right on the edge of that town.
Oh my goodness, it is so close, and the winds have been blowing the fire in the direction of the town. So the firefighters, I mean, kudos to them. They are just doing such a good job, not only there, but across the state. But they have a very tough job ahead of them, and today is going to be another tough one. Red flag warnings have been issued across northern and western New Mexico, most of New Mexico. We have central parts of the state too. That includes Albuquerque, and whenever we see this means high fire danger. That means you don't want to get any fire started, because the winds are going to be blowing and whipping from the southwest, gusting at times between 30 and 35 miles an hour for most of us, but it's going to be that constant wind and very dry conditions. Humidity's down to the low single digits. So bad if a fire gets started, and of course very tough on the fires that are already going. And Silver Fire is going to have another tough day ahead with those winds picking up. Look at the humidities right now, 16%. Again, that's going to fall off to the single digits again this afternoon. Even Albuquerque starting off very dry, and we're going to see this west wind push a lot of that dry air back to the east. Right now, the good news is at least the winds do die down at night, and we're off to a pretty calm start with the wind. Once we get into the afternoon, towards 12, 1 o'clock, that's when the breezes are going to kick back in again, and then they'll start to die down again for tonight. Moisture could move in for the weekend. I'll have the details in your forecast coming up in a bit.
Well, today is an off day in court in the trial of a former Albuquerque police officer accused of murdering his wife. This after a very emotional day yesterday. Chavez's father took the stand 6 years after his daughter died and said he never thought she committed suicide.
There's no way that Tara would have done this. No way.
Earlier in the day, this woman, the woman Levi Chavez, says he was with for part of the night Tara may have died, took the stand. Deborah Romero there was one of the many girlfriends Levi Chavez had. She could not say for sure when Chavez got to her house one Saturday night.
I don't know what time he got there. I know that he got off at midnight. I know that he was there sometime after midnight, after his shift. It wasn't the early morning hours.
Well, the state says Levi Chavez shot Tara with his police gun, then made it look like a suicide, but Chavez says no, she was depressed and killed herself. The judge is taking today to clear his docket. The trial resumes on Friday. And the trial of a man accused of kidnapping a little girl in Albuquerque 2 years ago is set to continue this morning. Yesterday, the man who rescued the little girl took the stand in Philip Garcia's trial. Prosecutors say he grabbed the girl when she was walking to her home in the South Valley, then forced her into his van. A neighbor, Antonio Diaz-Chacon, saw it and told the jury he didn't realize exactly what was going on until he heard that girl scream. The van took off, so Chacon started chasing it. The van ended up crashing and the driver took off running. Chacon saved that little girl. Garcia's lawyer tried to get Chacon to say he really didn't get a good look at the kidnapper, but Chacon, who only speaks in Spanish, so you're going to hear a couple of pauses here through a translator, testified that Garcia is the guy who took the little girl.
And that day when police took you up to the area where the van crashed and asked you to identify somebody who had been arrested, you say it's the same person that you identified today?
Yes.
Philip Garcia there is charged with kidnapping and child abuse. Will be back in court today. We'll let you know what happens.
The former Arizona pastor who hit and killed a man changing a tire in Albuquerque could learn his fate today. Wayne Salguero was charged with vehicular homicide after he veered off the road on I-40, hitting and killing 23-year-old Timothy Sheehan. Sheehan had stopped to change a tire. Now, the man pled no contest to careless driving, which carries a potential sentence of 90 days in jail. Police in Albuquerque need your help in solving a shooting investigation from last week. They say the victim, Kevin Swinehart, was seriously wounded on Cole Avenue in the Southeast Heights. Police were looking for a man named Jesse Sprague as a person of interest. They tell us they found him, they interviewed him, but they have cleared him. So if you have any information on this case, police would like to hear from you.
Well, ever wonder how sick we might get if we didn't have the flu shot? Well, here you go. A new study says flu shots have prevented 13 million illnesses in the U.S. in just 6 years. Researchers at the Centers for Disease Control took data from 2006 to 2011 and calculated what would have happened if there was no flu vaccine. Well, the scientists think the vaccine stopped more than 100,000 people from going to the hospital during that same time. Should be a message. Get your flu shot. We'll be talking about that, just a couple months now. All right, today's another great chance to try to get a job here in Albuquerque. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of New Mexico is having a job fair from 10 to 7 at the Sheraton Uptown on Louisiana and Manal. The company's hiring 400 people in the next couple months, everything from nurses to health managers. Good luck if you're headed out there.
Yeah.